It is the home race for most of the drivers tonight, with Season 6 Round 12 being held at Melbourne Park for the Australian Grand Prix. My name is Nick White, and tonight we will get more thrilling action and controversy around this 5-kilometre circuit as the championship battle is in its final stages. Last week in Saudi Arabia, Clunky Boy capitalised on a below-average finish from nearest title rival I Love Controller and a no start from third place Dodge to extend his championship lead to 30 points thanks to a spectacular first place finish. Importantly, this gives him an entire race buffer to second place, as in the PC Pacific Open Series, first place is awarded 30 points. In the Constructors' Championship, a zero-car start from Aston Martin let McLaren snatch third position, but with only 2 points separating them and second place Williams being only a further 5 points ahead, second place is well and truly up for grabs, so expect lots of position changes in the standings across this weekend. Qualifying is just in its start at the moment. Few drivers on their out laps. This is a pretty quick lap because the race goes on for like 58 laps in a full game. Half circuit tonight isn't going to be as long, obviously, but expect some really speedy qualifying times to what we are normally used to. A few big things to note going into tonight. Dodge in the Aston Martin missing for a second week in a row. They are being substituted by Champ. And, okay, I thought both the Mercedes were missing, but they are there. Alex is subbing in for the Red Bulls as well. Ashray out for Alpine. Cade is racing for them. Champ already out of the session, apparently. Very, very cool. Let's get this all set up. There we are, that's looking a bit nicer, isn't it? McLaren's about to start their starting lap. So this is Old Dude getting in the first lap of the race. They do have a Red Bull in front of them, but they managed that first chicane quite nicely. That's going to be changed up in the new iteration of the track, which we will see in just nearly a week's time in the 2022 Australian Grand Prix, but the game is running on the old track, so we will not see that as yet, but that will be widened to allow for some more overtaking opportunities, racing lines into turn 1, progressing throughout turn 2 and 3. Old Dude is using quite a bit of the curb here, and down this straight there is a hard right turn, but then they have a very high speed section down towards turn 13, which is a real hard right turn once again to put them back towards the start. High speed, just clocking under 300 kilometers, swinging to the left to take that right hand turn, getting that apex rather nicely. Getting a little bit of grass there almost. Andre Cortez sets the starting time of 1:22.991. Question is, how much longer will they be on top? This McLaren nearly done their opening lap. They just have this last turn left, turn 15. Bit of a right turn into 16, getting all the way to the right, hugging that curb all the way to the left of the track, getting maximum straight line speed and acceleration down the straight towards the finish line. And they clock a 1:24. So a significant margin off the pace there for the McLaren. Looks like on their outlap even, Terminator has been having some troubles. That will affect them a little bit on this lap, so I think this lap will be a little bit redundant. In saying that, there is a long straight down towards the finish line. The finish line is a very short run into turn 1, so maybe they could still salvage something here. 1:22s look like where we are at the moment. Interestingly, Clunky Boy, our championship leader, doing their first qualifying lap on the medium compound tyres. Data back to normal after last week doing it on the softs. Not a super successful race for Data, I must say. They probably were hoping for better, especially with I Love Controller having an average race and Dodge not even showing up at all. Data, for the first time in a while, not going for the medium compound in qualifying. They finished 16th last week, so not wonderful at all. Looks like Terminator lost the car a little bit there as well. They're the only one on track at the moment. Yellow flag in Sector 3, but that isn't getting in their way too much. Cade did set a 121. I'm just going to catch the end of this lap of this Haas, and then we're going to jump over to another driver. I want to see where they finish it up. I don't think they will be quite on the pace though. Just that last bit of acceleration down the straight, 124, nothing significant from Terminator. We will have to wait a little bit until we see something more substantial out of them. Cade is out on the track hoping to improve on their already P1 qualifying time. But no, they're going into the pits, realizing that lap was not going to improve upon their 121 that is currently leading the qualifying session. Alex has a fair way to go on their outlap still. Max in a similar boat. Spidery about to get started. I want to look at how they take turn 16 here. They need to swing really far to the left so then they can get the apex and get maximum acceleration down the straight. They seem to have done that quite nicely, swinging all the way to the left at the start of the main straight, also putting them in a really nice position for the right-left chicane that is turn 1 and 2. We'll see a lot of overtaking opportunities here during the race, or really teetering on the track limits there. Nice start from Spidery. I hope this lap comes to something. A little bit of traffic in Sector 1, but that doesn't bother them too much, not on the racing line. All the way out to the right to tackle turn 4, excuse me. Spidery seeing a purple Sector 1. Really good start for the Ferrari. They've had an unfortunate few couple of races. Even the new David Croft, bro. Wash Data getting in the way again. So lots of traffic for Spidery. I want to see how this session, Sector 2, tags out for them. Purple in Sector 2 as well. Spidery is on a phenomenal lap. If they can keep this Ferrari in shape. Nice exit there. They have a long run down the straight here, clocking to over 300 kilometers an hour. Very low on the fuel load, as you would expect in qualifying. Nice front turn there, keeping it stable. They do have this last few chicanes. They have opportunities to mess it up still. But looking at the time, they are looking really, really good all the way to the left, swinging right to get maximum acceleration down the straight. As always, putting the foot down as they approach the finish line. They will cross at a 123. That puts them in 7th place with a purple Sector 1 and 2. Something must have really gone wrong there in Sector 3, and that is where a lot of the time has to be made for Spidery in the rest of this race. Beautiful timing as we stop to JS, who has crashed. That will put them out of the qualifying session. Red flag, or yellow flag, excuse me. That is a rough race for the Haas there. Both of the Aston Martins out of qualifying as well. So another not great week for the Astons. Terminator just trying not to get in anybody's way while everybody's on their outlap. Cade in the Alpine still supporting their teammate, and they are this two high placing Alpines is the reason that they are at the top of this Constructors' Championship with a pretty significant lead as well. The AlphaTauris had a really good week last week as well, actually. They finished like 3rd and 4th, maybe even 2nd and 3rd. They had a really, really good weekend. Hoping to continue that. Davis, a lowest position of 4th across 2 races. Yeah, there was no red flags. I caught myself there, man. Sector 1. It looks like the AlphaTauri is going for another outlap here. Oh, beautiful timing again. Catching the McLaren of Ouch My Chin. Getting into a little bit of a spin. But it is green flags, yellow flags across the entire circuit. There's going to be lots of changes. Old mate, they were just right near that McLaren there. That might have got in their way. Yeah, it definitely did. They're slowing down. They're going to try for another flying lap next time around. I love Controller. They have a lot of space to make up here. As I mentioned in the kind of pre-show spiel, they are currently 30 points behind Clunky Boy in the Alpine, so they have a lot of work to do to get this drivers championships, back into their favor. Williams roaring through sector 1 really, really quick. Yellow flag in sector 2 and 3 might put a little bit of a hindrance to their lap though. Well into sector 2, this is where the DRS detection zone will be in the race. They're about to cross that point now. That will give them a really nice bit of acceleration down into turn 13, and 14. As I say that, the Williams does end up spinning, going a little bit too hard. Looks like they lost the rear of the car there. That will put an end to that lap. A lot of drivers still in the pits. Davis hoping to set an outlap, but it looks like their next lap is going to be disregarded due to track limits. Am I correct in saying that? Either way, it looks like they still might be going for something here, this Red Bull, this AlphaTauri even, with the Red Bull powertrain, as they're calling it. I'm really excited for this race with the two really close in proximity DRS zones. I am curious to see if the drivers who I imagine have been watching the regular F1 season, also those sausage curbs there, could be a real hindrance to that turn 3-4 chicane. The two DRS zones are really close together, so I'm wondering if we will see a little bit of action that we've seen like from Charles and Max in the past few races, where they're almost willing to not overtake in that first DRS zone so they can get a shot at the second without immediately getting back. Davis did exceed track limits there, so that will be not the best of starts for the AlphaTauri. Currently yet to set they have set a 124, but that is not putting them anywhere spectacular in qualifying whatsoever. Oh, this is the Red Bull of Alex. They are a substitute tonight. They're just at the beginning of their outlap. Andre Cortez is out of qualifying as well. I didn't quite catch what happened there, but they said a 122. So they could honestly still almost have an okay grid placement at the moment. So many drivers in the pits. Dada at the start of their flying lap as well, on the soft tires like they did last week. It didn't work out for them in the race situation, which is plagued by safety cars, as you kind of expected Jeddah at this point. Really mounting those curbs there in the new red cars that have really damaged the underfloor, I imagine, and all that ground effect downforce. But at the moment, Dada can get away with it, using the curb to their fullest around Melbourne Park here. 121 is still the time to beat, with just under 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Well into sector 2 now. They were about to approach again where that DRS zone will be after the first 2 laps of the race. Swinging all the way to the left to catch that right hand turn. Catching the apexes regularly is Dada here. Yellow flag in sector 3, but it looks like that's behind them. That's the Mercedes. Ivsky getting caught up there. That's another crash for them. So both the Mercedes, both the Aston Martins are out of qualifying. Getting all the way to the left, but it looks like they might have even lost a little bit of speed there to Dada. But in saying that, they are still on pace for not an awful time at all. It will put them up into second place, just a 10th off of Cade there, both on the soft compound tires. Everybody still remaining in this qualifying session is running the soft compound tires as we speak. Phenomenal lap from Dada into Alfa Romeo, back to their old qualifying brilliance, it seems. Now their teammate DJ will have to pull something out here. They're currently sitting at a respectable 122, but it is very high with a 0.933 at the tail end of that. So they will want to improve on that lap time and help Alfa Romeo in their push in the constructor standings. Spider is still sitting at a best of 123 at the end of sector 1. I Love Controller seems to be struggling a little bit as well. This is going to be their time. They actually might get a decent time on the board here. Really nice exit out of that final turn, barreling down towards the straight. That'll put them up in a 122. Pretty significant improvement. Up to 5th place on the grid, joining King in the Williams. Very close proximity to each other, but not on that front row as they might like. Clunky Boy still 2 places ahead. So our 2 championship leaders separated just by Alex in the Red Bull. Oh, they lost it. That'll take him out of that qualifying session. That front axle is not looking in good shape whatsoever. And a 122.213 is where it will stand for R12 Controller. They can now only hope that nobody will get a better qualifying time than them. Cade is having another go at it, which is really, really exciting. They're about to start their next lap. They're currently on provisional pole, and as everybody will be about to get in their final laps, but exceeded track limits really early on. I don't even know if they'll have time to get all the way around, so it might be a situation where Cade is stuck at a 121, but at the moment, it doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. Being stuck on pole, not an awful scenario to be in. Washed Dada is in the pit at the moment. So will they go out for another lap is the real big question. Because they were only a 10th off pole position. So maybe they can go for something. Clunky Boy is hoping to improve as well. They will be able to cross the checkered flag just in time to get in a final lap. Max. Dada retired from the session. Must be satisfied with that pole position. That Red Bull not sounding lovely though. DJ into sector 2. They are following King pretty closely though. I hope that traffic doesn't become a hindrance for them. King swerving a little bit. They might actually benefit from a bit of a slipstream here. So that in the corners, that lack of downforce will actually catch them out just a bit. Doesn't look like DJ's on for a bad lap here if this traffic doesn't get in the way. King about to set a time as well. These two are 7th and 8th in the qualifying session. So this is a chance for DJ to jump, for King to jump them, excuse me. DJ jumps up to a 122.5452, excuse me. That is an improvement for them. It looks like King was staying where they were. So no time improvement for them. Cade's still on pole, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be challenging that. Unless Terminator can pull off some form of brilliance. This is our last driver out on the track at the moment. Catching some pretty nice racing lines though, and they will be uninterrupted as everybody else is in the pits. Plenty of time to finish this. Really wide down to the left into, I think it's 13. At the tail of the mid section of sector 3, getting a lot of curb there. But nah, they've given up on that lap. Not seeing any value in going for that. They will be heading into the pits to conclude this qualifying session. It will be Cade on pole, joined on the front row by Dada. Clunky Boy ahead of their title rival R12 Controller by 2 grid places, and about a couple of tenths, 5 tenths are in there. Alex a 96 is wedged in between them as well. That should be end of this qualifying session. Really notably, Champ Primetime of the Aston Martin did not set a qualifying time. Neither did Ivsky. Andre managed to before crashing out, but both McLarens and both Mercedes crashing in qualifying. Just trying to extract that extra bit of lap time cost them. And there we are, everybody setting their best qualifying time on the soft compound tire. Just 0.06 between Cade and Dada there. Really, really close race from them. I hope that translates to out on the racetrack as well. Qualifying is about to close up. and the race should get started. Turn 1 is going to get very hectic. There were some stewards' orders that were put out warning about going a couple of cars wide into that turn 1 there. You have to leave plenty of room for the other drivers, so there could be a few collisions there. Also a few braking zones. I think turn 13 will feature a lot of overtakes, especially on the back of that DRS. There's also the DRS down at the pit starting straight. Those 2 DRS zones will play a massive part, and a pretty high speed overtake in turn 1, 2, because it is that chicane. So there are a few opportunities there. Even turn 3 into turn 4, there could be a few, like a couple of corner long battles that will progress throughout this race. Drivers about to start their formation lap here. There we are, that's what we want. We do have a few drivers starting on the mediums. Old Mate, who is just behind their Ferrari teammate. Spidery will be starting on the medium compound, Winks in the Alpha Tauri, who is pretty significantly behind their teammate Davis, who, despite claims that they are washed in the chat, they are starting on the 3rd row of the grid. Terminator in the Haas will also be on that medium compound tyre. The Aston Martins have a lot of work to do if they want to regain 2nd place, in the 3rd place even in the constructors. So they will have to put a lot of work. Granted, their rivals McLaren aren't faring too well themselves, 13th and 17th for the 2 Papaya vehicles. God, I get to say Papaya, that is so sick. Cade is leaving everybody down. They have had a few really good races, but they have been plagued by internet issues and just general technology problems, which is what claimed Dodge in this race, why they are not here. I think I mentioned that earlier, thought I should reiterate. So, Cade getting a chance. They've been in the Aston Martin past few times, if I'm not mistaken, but this time they will be racing for that Alpine. They managed to put it on the front row like they so often have been. They have been an exceptional qualifier from memory. I'm going to double check that though, because I'm prepared to eat my words. Stats page doesn't have them, that's upsetting. We are about to get the start of this Australian Grand Prix Season 6 Round 12 of the Race Spec Pacific Open Esports Series. 29 laps this race will go for, but the laps do go quick. Waiting for these red lights to come on. Lights fade out and we are racing here in Melbourne Park. The grid just splitting up, covering the entire width of the racetrack here. But it is Dada who got the overtake going into that first corner. They got the jump on Cade off the start. That Alpine, that looks like it was Clunky Boy going a little bit wide into turn 2, but managing to keep it on track. Big collision at the back, actually. Looks like that was Andre and Primetime getting caught up. Primetime is yet to get moving once again. Really brutal collision at the start for them. Primetime last week was driving pretty erratically, I would say is the word. And it looks like that might have even cost them their race, as they are disqualified immediately before the first corner even. Rough start for the Aston Martin. Their campaign to get back 3rd in the Constructors, not off to an excellent start whatsoever. Old Mate and JS4 are having a little bit of a battle down here. Trying to catch what's going on. The Haas has put a little bit of distance of the Ferrari, which is powering those cars, but down the inside goes Champ. They are getting a really nice start there, up into 15th, starting all the way at the back of the grid. Great start from them. Terminator is continuing to fall, however. These drivers are all still pretty close up. Ivsky in the Mercedes. They typically do better in the qualifying session. In the past few races, they have been starting from the back, and they will have to put in a lot of work to regain the positions that they have lost. A few drivers have been pitting the back of the grid. I'm assuming they were the ones that were involved in that altercation, with Primetime getting the worst of that one. Oh, Spidery might even get caught out here. There's a big stream of cars here, separated by only a couple of tenths. And into the braking zone at turn 13, I think will be where a lot of the overtaking attempts do actually take place. DRS is not yet active. Our predicted pit stop strategy still showing there. Oh, that was the McLaren and Batch Machine going a little bit wide. They lost a lot of ground to Spidery there, and it's actually costing them the place. Ivsky regains that position. They are up to 11th now. Batch Machine, that error looks like into turn, maybe out of turn 10, they messed up a little bit, and it cost them a whole position. Winks isn't in a position to make it a 2-car deficit for the McLaren, though. Old Dude still struggling a little bit at the back of the grid. Big gap between 16th and 17th. I want to see this battle between the two teammates. Really surprisingly how quickly these cars are getting close to that qualifying pace, already within 2 seconds of it. That has not been the case the past few weekends with the higher fuel loads. But Dada is getting it done, already having a 1.5 second lead. Looks like there's a bit of a battle going on down here though. The McLaren trying to regain a place onto Champ. But they do go a little bit wide there out of turn 2. Will they be able to make something happen into the hard right turn that is turn 3? They want to go around the outside. They get a little bit too close. Have to brake to avoid the collision. Thinking about the old switcheroo. They might just get it done here around the outside. Beautiful little move there from Old Dude. But they do exceed the track limits in doing so. Will they have to give that position back? That's Ivsky. A DNF. What happened there? I didn't even see what happened there. Champ and Old Dude are still going at it, but the Mercedes and the Aston Martin, after a bad qualifying session, that is translating to the races as well. So curious as to what happened there to Ivsky. Winks is only half a second behind the Haas of JS4 there, and they are approaching a big overtake opportunity. DRS has been enabled by race control. But will they be able to make something happen of it? Terminator looks like they got into a bit of a scuffle as well, and after having to pit, they are all the way down in 19th place. As I say that, they do jump up to 18th. And it looks like JS is just a little bit of an better exit out of 14 and 15, 16 as well even, to try and get a better line down the straight, and they will not be chomped up. Was that a collision there? No, it must have been King. King is going into the pits. I wonder if that is going to be a front wing change. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Davis and Wash Dada coming out of it. That is a big crash with the AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo. Dada is trying to keep it going. Both the Alphas are out of it. So much chaos in this race. Alex in the Red Bull has had a game crash. Despite the... Yeah, Dada's completely out of it. DJ wants to keep that car going, but they have just suffered too much damage. Very collision heavy first couple of laps here. Ashmachin wanting to continue climbing. At this race, everybody will be in contention for points. Everybody is, because points do go down to 15th here. So everybody can get some championship points on the board. I wish I caught what happened in those collisions, though. That was brutal. It looks like Davis and Washed had one. Ivsky DNF Prime tried to take out Andre Cortez, but was unsuccessful in doing so. Cade has dropped as well as they go into the pits really early on into this race. It's just for tires as well, just a really short stint on the softs. Spidery copping a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Yeah, and here we are seeing Alex. They were asking for a re-invite, but under the safety car, they will maintain that second place, but I imagine the AI will get snapped up pretty quickly. This is actually really good for the tail end of the grid, because under the safety car, they will be able to catch up to everybody and just kind of reclose that gap that was formed. Cade, their pit stop coming at the worst time, even under the safety car. They dropped a significant amount of places there. Excuse me. Few 5-second penalties on the board for Spidery and King there. A bunch of drivers have made their pit stop. The big climbers so far, Old Dude, Ouch My Chin, and Winks, the McLarens and that AlphaTauri. The McLarens really recovering for a great first 5 laps of the race. Cade down in 6th has dropped all the way from the start of the grid. And I'm wondering if Old Dude will be able to chomp up Cade and Winks and rejoin their McLaren teammate at the top of the field, Ouch My Chin, in a pretty good spot so far. Davis is unhappy, and there's a bunch of collisions going on. It looks like somebody stopped on the track and DNF'd the 2 Alfa Romeos. I think it might have been Davis caught in that one as well, so that was the cause of that collision. Very frustrated divers in the Discord channel. Still under the safety car here, but these gaps have all closed pretty significantly. Just trying to warm up the tires, still under the safety car. Looks like it'll be going around for at least another lap here. Is Alex back in the race? It's like Alex has managed to reclaim their spot in this race despite being under AI control for a brief minute there. Beautiful timing of that as well, because a lot of it was under the safety car. The House of JS. This is the highest I've seen them in a while, if my memory serves me well. Just trying to warm up those medium tires. Safety car is going to be in this lap. That is the call from race control. But it is a little while until we see that. They have a few turns left to go. And that long, oh, not that even long, that pit straight will have to be taken really nicely from Clunky Boy, because they will be towing everybody down and everybody behind them will be benefiting from that split stream. So if I was Clunky Boy here, I'd be trying to get the start at turn, God, maybe even turn like 15 a little bit earlier to try and break that tow before they do enter the straight. Alex is going to be the prime candidate to retake that first position. They of course will not have DRS until 2 laps after the safety car has come in. But it is in control now, and we are back racing as the safety car does come in. Here we are. It is Alex and the Red Bull trying to get around, but the Alpine of Clunky Boy successfully avoided that potential dive bomb into turn 1. Old Dude getting a good start as well. Trying to have another go at it here, but a little bit unsuccessful. Alex going a little bit wide. I Love Controller trying to pick up the scraps, but no, Alex does just recorrect their racing line there and keep them going. Cade is very close behind as well. Already gained a position out of the safety car, as has JS, but they're going to have a go at I Love Controller here. Oh, through this high-speed corner around the outside. Cade is very, very ballsy. That front wheel, that is a big collision there. That is the Williams taken out, and I think that is Cade's fault. They really stuck that front wheel in there, and that has cost I Love Controller a fair few places. They do manage to keep the car going, but tragic, tragic restart from I Love Controller. Cade sticking in that front wheel. Wonder if there'll be an investigation into that one. Terminator and Oldmate having a little bit of a duel as well. This is where I thought a lot of the overtakes would happen, down into 13, but there's a Ferrari falling again. I Love Controller getting back to work, trying to regain all those positions that they lost. It is Max, the Red Bulls, up into 2nd and 5th. This Max is going to have a go at JS here. I think they are a little bit too far back to make a dive bomb happen, so they will have to wait a little bit. But as JS does get a little bit scrappy, turn 2 and 3, the gap does close. Maybe they can make something happen. JS swerving all the way to the left side of the track. And Max is actually trying to follow them, but they do have to break. No overtaking opportunities coming from that one. If they can keep it close enough throughout the rest of the lap here, they might have some a bit later on. But tail end of Sector 1 isn't a great place to get these overtakes done, unfortunately. The back of the grid, Champ and Spidery going into the pit. And Oldmate, excuse me, is going into the pit. That Ferrari is departing. Good 24 seconds behind their teammate. The Haas of Terminator regaining that position. A little bit of a battle with the Williams. And Old Dude has a spin. That's why they were out of there. They had put themselves in the wall, managed to keep the car going back onto the grid. Lots of yellow flags being thrown around. JS with a really good restart as well on the Haas. They are all the way up to 4th. Let's have a look. Andre, they just dropped a lot of places. They might have had a little bit of a spin there as well. But everybody is back going under green flag conditions. But as I say that, so many spins happening here. I wonder if that is the setup. Drivers are not quite nailing the setup, or is it just the corners are just psyching these drivers out and they're not quite getting it and they are losing the car. We have seen just a lot of, it seems like, unforced spins. But I'm curious as to what the cause of that is. Max and the Haas are having a battle. Oh, JS down the inside. That was a great move. Have they put themselves in position for the all switcheroo though? No, they have not. Max not the cleanest exit out of that corner, and they will see the rear of that Haas for just a little bit longer, it looks like. Also, I thought they're putting the foot down really, really hard here, but overtaking into that turn 6-7 area is so difficult. They're keeping it down to the DRS zone, and they're getting it there. Really nice overtake around the outside. But JS, they are about to approach a DRS zone. They will be within that 1 second boundary to get the benefit of that drag reduction system. Maybe they can make something happen down into this section. Little bit of a left-right to split up that straight. And that is Alex with a spin. That's put them out of the race. Yeah, the Red Bull just stopped in front of the track. That is another safety car. Alex crashing out there. No re-invite to the race can save that, unfortunately, for the Red Bull. This race has been plagued with disqualifications. Not even a third of the way in. And under the safety car. Oh, Clunky Boy is pitting from the lead. I think this is only their first stop, though, from memory. So, actually, not bad timing of the safety car for Clunky Boy's strategy, but they are still dropping to 5th. I'm wondering if a few of the other drivers will pit. Both of the Alpines did at the same time. And the Williams of Isle of Controller went in as well. Terminator pitting, dropping a few places because of that one. The order for the restart, it looks like, is going to be Max from the lead. JS and the Haas having a beautiful kind of stint there in between the two safety cars. They are up to 2nd place, climbing 13 positions from the start. Winks in the AlphaTauri joining them at the top 3. Ashmachin will be really closely trailing them. Our championship leader Clunky Boy a second or so behind the McLaren. And Alex having a really unfortunate race spin there. They seem to be recovering it really nicely from the internet disconnect, but just unable to keep the car on the track. I was unsure if that was actually a collision there. They have dropped the picture of Max Verstappen kicking the car. That was Baku last year after the tyre blowout. That little picture has been chucked into chat. So, obviously not at all happy. Very fitting for a Red Bull driver to drop that one as well. A really pretty even split between the 1 and the 2 stops here. Actually, no, that's a complete lie. There have been 3 2 stops. A lot of the drivers on the 1 stops. Winks hasn't even gone into the pits yet. We do have a lot of drivers on that medium compound tire. As you can see there, Winks on the very, very old medium. Starting that race on that compound seemed to work out for them, but not pitting under the safety car to get more of a free pit stop is an interesting decision, to say the least. But aside from Champ in that Aston Martin, it looks like everybody has caught up to the back of the pack, so it will be another hectic race restart. Still only that 5-second place for 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane from Spidery. Champ with a 3-second penalty as well. I'm going to keep the position change up here. Yet to see the safety car coming in notification from race control. So still a little bit behind the safety car. I think it's the Aston Martin safety car at the moment, which is about the same speed as the actual Aston Martin car. So cannot emphasize enough how brilliant of a start JS has had in the Haas. They are all the way up in 2nd place at the moment. And they are only on 7 points throughout the entire season. Trying to find what their best race finish was. Looks like their best race finish is 12th so far, so they are getting that by 10. It looks like we are back racing. I was trying to browse for stats and I missed a safety car notification. Max keeping the lead throughout turn 1 and 2. We move up a little bit. JS is about to get chomped up, it looks like, by the AlphaTauri of Winks on those old medium tires. But no, they do. Oh no, they do spin. The Haas has been hit at Australia and they veer back onto the track in front of everyone. And that must be so frustrating for JS. I was talking about how much in a good position they were. But no, they did get caught in that collision. Max keeping the lead and the Haas duo back at the back of the grid again. So unfortunate for them. Been lots of collisions. I mean, the steward's office is going to be hell after this. I can tell Clunky Boy trying to have a go at Winks, and they are side by side throughout the high-speed sector 2, going past the DRS detection zone. Of course, that will not be in place just yet, but it looks like Clunky Boy has made up that position. They are all the way back into 2nd place for Clunky Boy, and the AlphaTauri getting chewed up by the other Alpine as well. Ashmachin hoping to make it a triple of getting past the AlphaTauri here as Winks goes a little bit wide. They might even be able to make it happen. Ashmachin tries to go around the outside, but they just didn't have enough racetrack to work with, and as a result of that, I Love Controller has taken that 5th place position. They are roaring ahead up the straight. Champ is going to be hit with another penalty. Excuse me. Winks maintaining 4th place as the sole AlphaTauri left on the grid at the moment. Only 13 drivers left. We had a full grid at the start. Not for long, to be fair, as prime time was out of there really, really quick. They were probably out of there in prime time, to be perfectly honest. I Love Controller still looking at the exhaust of this AlphaTauri, trying to make something happen. When will they get the chance to? DRS will not be back up again. Another 3-second penalty. And here it is, I Love Controller going around the outside of high-speed sector 2, but there will be a braking zone they'll have to deal with. They cannot get it done. Winks goes a little bit off the track onto those curbs, but it looks like the car is still intact, and they, most importantly, are still ahead of that Williams. But for how long is the real question. There's a really big braking zone here to the right. Winks cuts across. They have enough room to keep that racing line without cutting off the Williams, but the I Love Controller does go down the inside, but no, unable to get it done. Still frustratingly looking at the back of this AlphaTauri, but here will be a really good opportunity for them to get it done. DRS is enabled. I don't think they had access to it though at the time, but either way, they're getting the slipstream, getting as far out to the right as they can, trying to get a move done on Winks, but surprisingly, Winks actually almost gained ground at that straight, but not out of turn 2 and 3. And now it looks like I Love Controller has the better racing line. They are so close. They're trying to go around the outside. Oh, but so much space is left. That is good, clean racing. And as a result, I Love Controller has the lead. But for how long? It looks like they nearly messed up the exit out of turn 5 there. But no, they do get to keep that 4th place position at the moment. But they are swerving quite interestingly along the track there. Just trying to make their desired racing line a little bit unknown to the attacking Winks. I Love Controller just watching this, ouch my chin, excuse me, watching this whole battle happen from 6th place. JS has climbed back to 8th, which is respectable for them. But what a battle between Winks and I Love Controller. Winks still on their original set of tires as well. So they might even get chewed up by ouch my chin here as well. Oh, and that was a DNF from Cade. What on earth happened to Cade? They're on the middle of the track. That's the second driver that has crashed out there. Alex G did. And now Cade has as well. That sector of the track has just been so brutal. And Champ just being stacked with these penalties. In the wise words of Cade in the Discord, that is not very good apparently. I'm really curious as to what is happening in that sector of the track and why so many people are being claimed. A lot of drivers are going to use this to pit. I imagine Winks will as well. They might have to wait till next lap though. They might have just missed the opportunity to go in. But pitting under the safety car, the best option for a lot of the drivers. And we are down to 12. Lots of DNFs and a disqualification. But at the front of the field, this restart is going to be enthralling. It is our championship leaders, Clunky Boy and I Love Controller, one after the other behind the safety car. This restart is fighting to close that gap in the Drivers' Championships. It is currently sitting at 30 points. Winks. I'm gonna double check this. I think they're still yet to pit. Yeah. They're just gone all the way on the medium compound tires. To be fair, I'm pretty sure it was Davis last week who went for a massive stint on the softs. I'm pretty sure that was a 17 lap stint on the soft compound tires for them. Winks is making that happen on the medium as well. At what point will the tire degradation start to hinder their race, though, is the real question. The report is that Cade, it was a driver error there as well. So it was no altercation, just not having full control of the car, and it did result in them being disqualified from this race. It looks like there is a complete loss of grip over curves, is the report coming in from the drivers. So I think that appeared to be a known factor going into this race, but it hasn't stopped it from catching a lot of people out. Cade, this feels like the third week in a row that they have just had a really, to be fair, this time wasn't unfortunate, this was their own fault, but being so high up on the grid only to lose it about halfway through the race seems to be a little bit of a recurring theme for Cade, no matter which team colours they are in. Further back of the grid, JS has got up that position again. Getting really close to that Ferrari of old mate, who's surged all the way back up to 4th. So Champ has a drive-through penalty. There was lots of messages from race control saying that they were doing silly buggers, so that is not surprising whatsoever. Ash Martin has copped a 5-second penalty as the safety car is to come in on this lap. Whoa! Oh my god, the Haas just... Cars have just lost parts under the safety car. Oh Nelly. That is not super cash money at all. Little bits of carbon fiber just being flung across the track. I wonder if that'll extend the safety car period. Just a reminder, it is the 1-2 in the Drivers' Championships, 1-2 in the Australian Grand Prix at the moment. Same as last time, Clunky Boy in control of this restart. They managed to fend off everybody behind them, even though they were supplying the slipstream last time. Will they be able to do so? We are over the halfway mark of this Grand Prix at the moment. Really, really slow. Not wanting to get the race started, trying to catch the Williams off guard. And JS is having to pit to fix up that damage that they copped under the safety car, and it is everybody roaring down that main straight, but no dive bombs being attempted. It looks like a few drivers having to pit under the safety car, but it is I Love Controller still looking at the back of Clunky Boy Winks, getting it chewed up just a little bit. These drivers are really, really close. The two Red Bull powered cars are neck and neck. Max is up into 4th position, but only 0.2 behind them is Winks. Looks like they lost a little bit of damage on that curb there, and as a result, they have dropped just further behind from that Red Bull. Ash Martin in a position to try and pick up the scraps as well. At the front of the field, Clunky Boy has already put on nearly a second to I Love Controller. That isn't where the heat is happening. Winks swerving across the racetrack, trying to make attacking that corner for Ash Martin as difficult as possible. Terminator has spun as well. They're trying to get their car back onto the track. And the Haas just being constantly plagued by spins throughout this entire race and unnecessary contact as JS is back at the bottom of the field. Max still wants to have a go at things. But will they be able to get it done onto the Ferrari? This is a big braking zone down into turn 1 and 2. Both cars keep it tidy enough. Oh, that was a close call from Max. They nearly lost the tires. But no, they managed to keep it going. But there was a little bit of distance put between them and the Ferrari because of that mistake. Andre Cortez, after that rough collision at the start with Prime Time, has managed to keep the car going and has put themselves in 7th position at the moment. They are looking at the back of the McLaren and the AlphaTauri, trying to make a move. They're agonizingly close, but when will they get an opportunity to make the overtake? I think the big one will be into turn 13, that hard right turn off the brakes, but no, they're going to make it happen now either way. They do get past the McLaren there. Looks like there might have been a bit of contact, but they do gain that position nonetheless. Ouch, my chin, suffering there. Spidery managed to get past them as well, and now they're trying to get in the duel between Cortez and Winx. Max is still looking at this Ferrari. DRS will be coming on pretty soon. Should be as the lead car passes the checkered flag this lap. But either way, down the straight, this is where Max will have a good shot at capitalizing on the Ferrari. The Ferrari versus Red Bull, this is what we have been seeing all season long in F1. It is translating over to Race Spec Esports as well, but it looks like Olme is just far enough ahead to not be at risk from any sort of maneuver from Max. Outright Shin going out again. They have to go into the pits. And what is happening here? Is this a retirement? No, very slow pit stop. What's happening there? There is a front wing change on as well. This is tragic stuff for Outright Shin, getting stuck in the pits. Unsure of exactly what happened there. But to be fair, they're not going to be in last place just yet. Champ still holds that prestigious title. Oh, this is a very close battle. Max has been keeping that distance to the Ferrari really close. They might be ready to have another crack at it into turn 13 with the help of the DRS. That rear wing is wide open. They are going to get up to 14 kilometers of extra speed here. They were thinking about the inside for a little moment there, but thought better of it. And session is no longer available. What on earth? Is that just me? Can I rejoin is the question. I think it's just me, because nobody has said anything about it in the Discord, so none of the drivers are having this issue. But I'm unable to get back in. I'm going to try to restart my game. If this doesn't work, Alright, gamers. Here is the general consensus. The game is cooked. It's GG's in the chat. Nothing is saving this monstrosity that is called a video game. So, on that note, won't get to finish the race, which is really tragic. I'm joining the rest of the drivers who got kicked out and just crashing. This error message is going to haunt my dreams. Keep an eye on the Discord server. You'll be able to see the standings in there from when the race is done. Prediction? I haven't seen anything yet. I'm going to make a prediction. I think I Love Controller will make an overtake, and they will finish in first place. Clunky will drop down to third due to a combination of an overtake and personal error. So, GG's in the chat. Whole lobby's cooked. I'm going to head out. Not worth wasting my time sitting here speculating. Thank you for tuning in. I think it was going almost pretty well before everything hit the fan. I've been Nick White with Spec Esports. I'm going to make like a tree and leave. Goodbye.